Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
Before you lift and support the vehicle, loosen the lug nuts with the wheel on the ground. Use a 21mm socket and a breaker bar. Lift and support the vehicle. The lug nut's loose. You can use the 21mm socket with just your hand. Finish removing the lug nuts. Remove the wheel, place it aside. I'm going to replace the outer tie rod end. Turn the whole hub assembly out so I can reach it. Start by removing this cotter pin. Use needle nose pliers or side cutters. This one's pretty rusty. Grab onto it. See if I can get the needle nose pliers in there. Try to pry it. Pry against the knuckle. There we go. Before you remove this, you will have to have the car lined. I'll show you that I will mark this with some tape. Some people like to count the turns that it comes off. I'm just going to put some tape near the lock nut and mark it and thread it on in generally the same measurement or location. So it'll be close, but it will need to be aligned afterwards. Spray the lower castle nut with some rust penetrant before I try to remove it. It's pretty rusty. Also going to spray some up here on the lock nut to let that sit. When I come back to it, it should be ready to go. And take an 18mm wrench and loosen the castle nut. I'm gonna leave this nut on here for now, but fairly loose, because I want to have the tie rod end captured in the end of the knuckle here, so it doesn't try to turn while I undo the lock nut. I want to loosen this lock nut or jam nut ever so slightly, because afterwards I'm going to take some masking tape and mark where it was. So I don't want to thread it all the way back out. I just want to loosen it enough so that I can get this tie rod end off. It's a 22mm. Just give it one more turn. So that should be just loose enough to get this outer tie rod off. So I'm going to take some masking tape and just mark where it was in case it moves. I'm just going to wipe off some of the rust penetrant oil so the tape will stick. Take some masking tape and just mark where it was. So that also keeps the nut from spinning out any further and will keep me in the general area of where it was. I'm going to remove the castle nut the rest of the way off. Still pretty rusty, so you use the 18mm to get it off. This ball joint has a taper and it sits into the knuckle here. That's what makes it really tight. You can hit this with a hammer to try to break it free. You have to be very careful. This knuckle is fragile. You could break the knuckle. It's better to use a ball joint removal tool or a tie rod end removal tool. I'm going to slide this underneath the tie rod end. You may need to turn it a little bit to help it seat. Use the appropriate sized wrench for your ball joint tool and thread it down, and this will push the ball joint out of the knuckle. They tend to snap out like that. I was trying to hold the tool so I didn't drop it, but it's okay. So now this will come right out, and with it loose, the tie rod end will thread right off. Now you could try to count this if you didn't mark where this was or you moved it. I like putting the tape there. It will just thread right off, and there it is. Here's our old tie rod end we pulled from our vehicle. This is our new one from moneyauto.com. You can see they're similar in design. They do have the same threads. The one from One Auto comes with a new castle nut. Also comes with a new cotter pin, and if you need a lock nut, it comes with a new one. This should thread right into place and make our steering nice and tight again. I'm going to take our new castle nut off, put that aside. Just start by threading on the new tie rod end. I'm actually going to put it just about where the old one was. It was like that. Clean the grease off that's in here. Take your new tie rod end, put it right into place. Sometimes you gotta push the ball joint a bit, get it to line up. Just like that. Install our new castle nut. Thread the lock nut down. Just tighten it up nice. Use a little razor blade, just get our tape off. Use our 18mm again, tighten the castle nut. Try to get it nice and tight and line it up with the hole for the cotter pin. Install our new cotter pin. Take one of those pliers, turn it, bend it over. Tie rod end is replaced. We'll reinstall our wheel, and we'll torque the lug nuts. Just going to use the socket to get these lug nuts as tight as you can by hand. You can torque the wheel afterwards once it's on the ground. Torque on the lug nuts is 73 to 86. I torque these to 80. Cross pattern. Job is complete.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.